Welcome to Dice Never Lie. As always, I am your DM and the Game Master, Marathustra. It is my pleasure to welcome you all, whether you are a longtime subscriber or listening to the first time. I appreciate you being here. This is a game primarily recorded and preserved for my players to be able to go back, listen to our sessions, take deeper notes, and just to have access to things, especially if, say, we play while somebody's absent. It's not primarily produced for those out there not playing. So I invite you, if you are taking the time to listen to it, join us. Contact me. Try to see what we can do to get you into one of the games. They are loads of fun, and while we play Dungeons and Dragons, it's not necessarily required that you know anything about the game. It's all about improving, wanting to enjoy telling a story that none of us know where it's going to go moments from now, and then giving a lot to the clickety-clackety, letting the dice decide where the game's going. And that's everything about why this channel is called The Dice Never Lie. Here we tell stories based on the way the dice determine things are gonna go. So, while I'd like to apologize for forgetting to upload some of these videos, we also have been about a month since the Twin Star Marauders have met to play. We recently played here in the new year for 2024, and I am excited to get back to posting these videos. I'm finally getting my feet a little more situated after my move, and I'm excited to say we're gonna get back to normal video production for the new year coming here. I'm very excited for the oncoming Night of Dissolution for the Twin Star Marauders and to see where our story goes in Tolis. This is a very rich setting coming from the Monty Cook and the 4th edition days. Some of the most famous players and minds, people of the Dungeons and Dragons worlds, this is the setting that they played in with their friends and fellow employees of the creation of this game long before it was really stolen slash bought by Hasbro and turned into a well monetized machine. So I'd like to thank you all again for tuning in here with The Dice Never Lie. My name is Marathustra. It is my pleasure to bring today the game from the 19th of November, almost 2 months ago now. We are returning here, and I should get us all caught up to date to where we had about a month hiatus in play, and then we'll be getting that January, I think it was 7th or 9th of the new year 2024 up and uploaded pretty soon here. But thank you all very much. Everybody be well and enjoy your listening. I don't know. It's kind of weird to put it to you. Like, are we making a push to try to find the materials to resurrect Carolrescent? Are you guys moving forward with the dangers ahead? What is your priority? Where do we want to start this week?
Well, I would imagine that we could talk to the church and see, I would assume they would want to bring back Cal Russin. I've personally never been a huge fan of him, but I kind of like him. He's all right.
We kind of owe him. He's had our back before.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's more of like a paladin trait than like a personal trait. That he's kind of a douche.
Oh yeah. Do we think that? I guess, given our previous experience, do we think that we'd probably need to go gather some more? I forget what the herb was called that we got from the necropolis before. Was it like Graveswort or Gravesbane?
Yeah, that kind of comes down to, Jinx had said go to the church and kind of discuss it. Do you guys want to go to Brother Fabiator Thisk, who is effectively the priest of St. Gustav's and the person who is like immediately over Calrescent. Do you want to try to like knock down like two doors at once and try to go to like as high as you can get in the church and try to discuss with somebody who might also be able to affect change in the doors to the Bane Warrens? Like, where do you want to go to the church? You guys also have those contacts in the church inside of the Temple District. I would have to look up some of their names, but I know you have those contacts.
I mean, I would definitely think this is the way to go, and then trying to like talk to the higher ups while we're there, and like potentially persuade them to like divert resources just a little longer until we can come up with like a more permanent solution, maybe. Than just like, oh, we're just gonna cover it with some dirt and look the other way.
Yeah, I'm wondering if so I agree. Go to Fisk first. I'm wondering if before we go to the higher ups, like if we we take Kellerison back, try to get him, see what we need to do to help try and get him resurrected, brought back, and then I'm thinking our efforts with if we go eventually to the higher ups to try to convince them, if we could bring some sort of like evidence of the cult's activities, like kind of like hard proof essentially that they're not going to be stopped by a bunch of dirt and rocks. And that could be a way, also like see what meet up with Neferndel, see what she's found out. If she has like a lead, we can go on, and then if we go to the church and be like, here's evidence of like, the cult's activities and their strength, maybe that would bolster our case for you can't just, we need to figure out something more, effective than just kind of trying to bury the entrance.
So top priority, get Calrescent not dead. Second priority, try to convince them to at least wait to deploy their plan. And then in the meantime, we really want to try to deal with the king, right? And Neferndel.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought process. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm with you on that. That sounds good to me. What do you think, Chris?
And that seems fine to me.
Okay, sick. So do we want to all go together to the church, bring the body, try to do the damn thing? Or do we want to, I know it sounds crazy, but split off and try to do the Gravesbane situation? Like get it in advance.
I'm not sure we should split if we are going to have to go back into the necropolis. I'm not sure splitting up would be the best idea.
I mean, what do you mean? Spitting up has never harmed anybody.
And then there's also, I guess, because I think last time, right, the necropolis is where like we know it is, but I think there was also some possibility that it could be found like outside the city gates, and if the barbarians are also like kind of tunneling into the city, if we were looking for the Gravesbane, if we tried to find some outside the city walls, we could also at the same time look to see if we could find like where they're tunneling in and try to delay that.
So part of the update on the barbarians from last week, though, is they have now entirely surrounded the city. They have rounded the spire and they have taken the northern side. The city is fully under siege, except for by sea at this point. So you guys had the opportunity to leave the city and go for. There was some ancient burial grounds like to the northwest of the city, near it's kind of like this Ashenburg area here. You had that opportunity. It is effectively gone unless you travel by sea. And at this
Gotcha.
point, it's kind of one of those things where, with the siege underway, piratical action is at its highest, there is severe dangers for anything that is traversing by sea, because effectively anybody who's got a ship now understands that they can get paid 10, 20, 100 times as much to bring those same goods there, and the pirates know that these people are getting paid 10, 20, 100 times as much for those goods.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, especially, yeah, I forgot some time has passed. So, yeah, that makes sense that. Yeah, so I would say we go together. My thought would be go together to Fisk. Is it Fisk? Fisk, and and then kind of see what he says, and then if we have to go get some Gravesbane, I would probably be best to go together.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Kind of a classic place that I will sort of always try to remember to start is, are you, are you all meeting up at the Goblin House and heading out from there? Are you all effectively going from like your own abodes and making your way to Midtown? Where are we grouping up together?
Well, I would imagine we're picking up pretty quickly afterwards, or at least getting gentle reposed. So I would say probably like straight there from like the confrontation.
All right, here's the thing there. I'm going to say you're probably at least the day after, simply because we didn't start right there. Because that's where I would have kept you guys on that same rest. So, sort of my apologies there on saying that you could take a long rest. And that allows us to also bring Dalton in without any problems. That we basically have you guys on this mission the next day. As far as things go, once you are outside of 3 minutes, I think the next resurrection spell worries about 10 days. So I don't think Gentle Repose changes that at all.
Yeah, so maybe Dalton just like he wasn't around. Maybe you couldn't find him when you went to go meet Kelrescent, and maybe now you've gotten word somehow and for him to come meet you. Like I don't know if you hold up somewhere, like in Midtown, that he can come to try and meet you, and then we can go to Fisk, something like that.
Gotcha. We could have you all effectively like the day later, like you sent a shadow sending to Dalton. Quite honestly, Dalton was sick last week, so Dalton was sick at home and couldn't actually leave, for flu/whatever purposes would keep him bedridden. And that was what was going on with him. So, maybe they send you a shadow sending, and it's kind of calling to you, like, whatever the cost is, you're needed. Uh, and, maybe Dalton's not feeling his best. I'm not sure what you rolled for your hit points today, but that's definitely one of those things that you can kind of think of with how, like, Dalton would be responding is kind of, day after a hard flu or simply, like, extremely, like, kind of, like, wrung out by a cold. But yeah, I would say we're pretty much the day after. Give you guys that chance that you do have the long rest, and maybe we're effectively last Monday. So you guys are, about 10 or 12 hours after the actual assault on the streets of Midtown.
Yeah, I rolled just about average, or pretty much exactly average. So
Yeah, so you turn that corner and you're feeling much better, and able to actually, like, use your strength instead of feeling like you're just kind of torn down by this cold.
yeah, so when he gets the message, Dalton will yeah. You guys have your sidekick, so he'll probably grab Karina and rush to meet you where you said to meet you.
Gotcha. If you're gonna go and try to get Karina, let me have you roll a d12, please. Just Dalton.
Sure.
No, you know what? Let me have everybody roll a d12. You guys are separated, but maybe they find you while you guys are held up in that restaurant.
That's a
Of
one.
course. Who is that? I saw that show up as Gale, but did Gale and Dalton roll a 1?
No, I got a 6.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
one was all me.
And I got 3 for Jinx.
I never actually cleared it out. So let's see what's going on here. You guys want to take a quick break while I prepare this? Because we're going to have some action going down here.
Sure. Yep. Sounds good.
Yeah, all right.
Let me have... Dalton, I would like you to roll initiative and a d4. And then Jinx and Gale, can you two both roll initiative?
It's a 9 on the initiative for Dalton, and a 2 on the D4.
It's a 21 for Gale.
And I rolled a natural 1 for a total of 5.
And you said a 2 from the d4?
Yes.
Can you roll a perception check for me, Dalton?
Ooh, that is an 8 total.
Alright, I just kind of want to explain this section here. If you're looking at the Midtown map, like Delver Square is 187, it's just to the left of the M of Midtown. I think we put this location just kind of south and I think to the west of Lower God Street or Lower God Row. So it's just kind of like to the east of 195 and to the north of that like home that's kind of like got a wall around it. So we just kind of put it in that little block there. So it's just sort of off from where like Delver Square is. It's just a little bit away from there. So that's kind of the location of this this little area here. So I put you with Karina just off to the north, sort of as if you're coming in from effectively that Lower God Row there. We have them back in that same red room, kind of held up from the night before. For what it's worth, you know, there might even still be dirty plates from your lunch, because it was never a concern, sort of after the horrors of everything that happened, to, like, kind of go back to that. Doesn't have to be that way, but it's just to how much your minds are together is sort of up to you guys, but you've sort of been holding off, sort of trying to keep maybe as many people out of that room to basically hide that you were vulnerable in case, say, any of the like servers are effectively spies for your enemies. You don't really necessarily want people to know what you're doing. All of that's up to you guys who are inside of that room, like what level that you sort of take that to. But I think that's kind of a viable thing. Like, you did a shadow sending, you sent off for Dalton, and you tried to hold your ground where you sort of knew what was familiar and without like traveling through the city. Like going into Delver Square, going to St. Gustav's, it's close, but it also might put you in more danger. So that's where I kind of think just starting off things here is where we'll go from. So, Dalton, with how that's going to play out here, we're going to have you nearing this area, little bit more sort of attentive to where you're going as you're getting close than necessarily the possible danger sort of around you, as you are effectively going to, a little bit too late, realize the danger you are in as a person. Let me actually test these real quick. Alright, somebody is going to turn on Karina and attack her twice. Let's see. And these will be at advantage. So this is the first attack on Karina. Should hit her with a nat 14. Her AC is medium armor. I think it is 14.
She's a cut purse, so her AC is only 13, actually. She's
13?
light armor.
Okay. And then the second attack is going to be the same. It should hit with the nat 15. And both of these are just like short sword, just kind of like you're walking through this crowd. There's merchants in their stalls. Like the money purses on this street are different merchants at their stalls. The different cogs are different people who are going about their day, like shopping and like picking up food from this place. This is kind of early in the morning, so a lot of these people are picking up, maybe like kind of like eggs sort of rolled around different mystery meats and whatnot. But you're kind of like moving through this crowd on the streets as all of a sudden Karina is stabbed in quick succession. 1, 2. I need her to make 2 con saves first. These are not for wounds. It's to see, like, from the second part of the attack. So let me just see 2 con saves first.
Yeah, those are not good. 3 and a 6.
Okay. So if she fails that, she's going to take quite a bit more damage from these actual attacks. So let me see. Let's see. These are going to be the actual con saves. I think it's going to drop her regardless. Yeah, because it's 7d6 from the poison that she failed, so she really needed to succeed that DC 15. So yeah, as soon as this person reveals themselves, almost just as fast, Karina is going to drop to the ground unconscious. As she's basically stabbed with poison daggers. She is going to go unconscious. The problem is with how initiative is rolled is you are not reacting much faster than you are going to get attacked as well. Another person is going to rush out and he is going to attack you. Nat 14 for... He's going to have 20 to hit you?
Oh, yeah, that'll hit.
Can you make a con save for yourself, please? Alright, you're good.
All right, 19. Or 20, yeah.
D6. So 10. 5. With the first attack, you are going to take 10 poison damage, and that already is halved. and then 5 piercing damage.
Got it. And then can I use my inspiration to give him disadvantage on the second attack?
Gotcha, yeah, so that'll just give him a straight attack here.
Or straight, yeah. I think that'll still hit, though.
17? I think you said 18 was your AC? Oh, okay.
No, 15 AC, yeah.
Do a con save here again.
I probably should have saved my inspiration for this. That's going to be a fail. That's an 8. Or 9, yeah.
$23 more damage?
That is just enough to drop him unconscious.
Alrighty. So let me go for then perception checks from the other two here.
Is it cheesy if I use my inspiration on this?
No, that's fine. You guys have inspiration to use, and it is a meta thing, so.
Okay, I have 18 total.
Yeah, and I got 11 total.
Gotcha. So maybe what we've got going on here is Jinx is expecting Dalton to arrive. You're kind of sitting at the window with effectively an ear outside. And as there's a normal sort of din of noise around you, you hear a particular sound of, the scream of Karina as she's stabbed, or perhaps the same from Dalton, but effectively you do actually pick up the sounds of this attack. Now, you guys are not close to making it to them. It takes you a full move and a dash to make it to that, entry stair where we started the fight, last time. Just to the north of you guys, as you're going down 2 flights of stairs to get to that entryway. So you're not close to them, but you can at least get something. If you sort of dash out now, you would basically be, what is that, probably about 60 or so feet from them and within sight. Yeah,
Okay,
so
I have a secondary plan. Can I bust out the window and parkour, jump? I mean, as soon as I hear this scream, I know what's going down. So I guess
go for an acrobatics. This is again that house that's sort of built on top of itself in a very sort of Warren's fashion. There's a lot of these market booths below where you've got different you're going for that springboard of the tenting kind of thing. But yeah, as you leap down, I
So
think I
it's
said
9
third story.
total.
Holy shit. When you leap down, you go to hit this canvas so you can save your fall, and you just go right through the canvas. It's been eaten away by the sun, and the actual merchant has a bunch of just sharp objects. He's almost just somebody who's cleaning up the stone, and he's just got this small tent over his house, and is cleaning up the stone from this barbarian invasion. So you just leap right through the actual canvas and just crush yourself onto sharp stone and rocks. But you can take 18 damage, and effectively for 5 movement, I'll put you on the ground level, but right there. I guess technically that would prone you. So let's just say for half your movement, you're right there.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I'm gonna make my gracious exit, and then I'm gonna use the rest of my movement to get closer, and try to get an eye on them if I can, to obviously try to heal them.
Are you still 30 movement? 30 feet of movement?
Yeah, so I would have used, what, 15 or 20 now?
Like 15. 15's fine. So I think you're probably just right beside that coin purse at best. And then is it 30 or 60 feet on Healing Word?
So I have 60 feet range. If I can see, I will twin spell it, and I want to hit both of them.
Gotcha. Let me test real quick, actually, because technically Dalton is before you in initiative. Dalton, can you roll a death saving throw for yourself? And then immediately afterwards for Karina.
All right, so Dalton, and then all right, Dalton failed, and Karina succeeded.
Excellent. Hmm. Let's go for. Roll a percentile for me, Jinx.
96.
Word, I rolled a 10. Ooh, or was that 100? I'm gonna go for I rolled a 10. You can see both of them. You can twin this, and you can Healing Word both of them. So Karina should gain 1 hit point, and then Dalton will gain what you roll here. And that's your move and a bonus action. Do you have an action that you would like to do?
Okay, so you're gonna gain 7 back, Dalton, and yeah, so he'll like start to cast like the healing with his one hand, and then he sort of like manipulates the magic with his other hand, and then twins it to the two of them. So it's gonna be 2 first level healings, just for the record. And then actually for an action, I'm going to go ahead and take a boomerang shot, maybe, or no, I want to do the disadvantage. So cutting words.
Gotcha. The one that's currently like behind Dalton.
Sorry, vicious mockery. Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna vicious mockery the one I can see.
Is Vicious Mockery also 60 feet?
Yeah, 60 feet, and it's wisdom 15 saving throw. And Jinx is just gonna yell out, "Hey, you're looking for me! Leave those innocents alone!" And it's gonna be 6 if you fail.
Excellent.
And that's it. Move, action, bonus. I'm done.
What would you like to do with Terryton?
Terry's little and a lot smarter, so he's gonna do a dash action to get as far as he can.
Yeah, you can just put him basically right behind you. Gail, what would you like to do?
Yeah, following the insane stunt of jumping out the window, Gale will follow Tarushin and dash out.
Excellent. And would Bill like to leap out of the window?
I think he would dash as well.
Excellent. So therefore, I'm going to go for...
All you do is roll 18 one time, and suddenly everyone's taking the stairs.
all on Dalton. Alrighty, so I am going to go for Karina is prone. So the first attack is going to be on Karina from the same one who stands over her, stabbing into her. With a
That's
crit,
not good.
that's pretty much just going to lay Karina low. Damn, technically, if I do twice her number of hit dice, she is outright dead.
All right, so I think because you're critting Karina, I was gonna save it for Dalton, but I think I want to use my reaction on that.
Alright, so again, to clarify with this one, like, you can react with this, but that 2 is gone. It's a reroll and a 20.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I don't want to risk, if I can help it, her dying outright.
Gotcha. So that'll hit with a 14, which is a dirty 20. And
Okay, so
this
that was
one,
silvery. Oh, sorry. So that was silvery barbs, and then I'm gonna give the advantage to. I'll give it to Terry Chan.
alright, he's still like 50 something feet away. You're gonna throw something with him?
Oh no, I don't want to do that. I'll give it to Dalton then.
Yeah, I feel like Dalton or Gale is who you have to give it to. Alright. I think she still needs to survive the con check to not be killed outright. So, can you roll a con save?
Nope, that's a 9.
Because it's for 8 damage dice, and she has 1 hit point of 6 right now. So she's going to take 8 damage dice here. And I think that's going to kill her outright.
Yep.
So this one is going to, like, stab and, like, cut into Karina's throat and just eviscerate her jugular and just shred it right out of her throat. And Karina's body is just, like, thrown unceremoniously to the ground. And then she's going to move over to Dalton. You are still prone on the ground, and she's going to attack you.
All right. I'll try and use my cutting words on the attack roll, if I can use my reaction.
That's to reduce it with a D8, right? It's not like an actual like disadvantage.
Right. Subtract the number. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So subtract the number rolled from the. Yeah.
I want. Oh, my bad.
So you can see those dice rolled, and you should have an idea of like how well she rolled. She rolled about average to hit you. Do you want a cutting words at 10?
Yeah, because she's pretty skilled, and Dalton's armor is not that high. So.
Gotcha. So I have a 16 right now. What's your AC?
15. So I need to roll a 2 or higher, just not
Gotcha.
a 1 on this D8.
Solid.
Okay.
So yeah, as she like moves over to you, as she's like eviscerating the Karina over there, she moves over to you, and just with like a word of magic, you are able to get her to stumble just enough that her blade like sinks down into the stones right next to your throat as you see her go for a killing blow on you. And then it's going to be the next one who's already over you. He has advantage for you being prone. What were you thinking, Jinx? Like, can I roll this attack?
Yeah, whenever he's going to attack without disadvantage or like normal or whatever, I want to spend my inspiration on like whatever attack to make it neutral or negative.
Gotcha. He'll have 2 attacks. The first one's disadvantage, so you can burn your inspiration to make the second one disadvantage as well. But they'll both be just straight rolls.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good.
And a crit. Holy shit. I don't know if Dalton can live through that. Make a con save.
Yeah, I think it's going to depend on whether he
The
resists.
poison is
at least some of the poison.
14d6 if on a crit.
It's
plus
13. No, con's only +1.
Yeah, he's going to take 14d6 just in the poison. And technically we do max damage on the 7, so it's not even 14d6. What is that? 42 plus 76?
Yeah, he's
48.
Dead. 45
51.
is the magic number. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 51 plus 8d6 in damage with that strike.
Yeah, so even if you rolled all ones on the 8d6, that's enough to kill him.
Alrighty. Yeah, I think this one stabs into Dalton, and he is going to lift up Dalton without like the resistance of Dalton fighting back, and he is going to start running with his body. Gale, you are going to get hit from behind by a sword with a 25 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Can you make a con save?
Yeah, I'm gonna use my advantage on that one. Yes, for safety.
Nat 15 will save it unless you have a negative.
No, I have a +1.
So you'll take 9 plus 5 for a total of 14 damage. And that one should miss with a 15 to hit.
Yeah, that misses.
As you feel the knife blade into your back, you're just going to hear treat with your friend, or you all will die to the Balakazars. His ransom will come to you. Do not chase. And this person is going to step out of combat as they pull the blade from your back. Do you want to attack them as he steps away from you?
I mean, yeah, I do. I'm gonna shocking grasp him.
Let me have you roll a wisdom check here. Because I am giving you an ultimatum, and I want you to have... Okay, I'm giving you an ultimatum. You let this guy go, you let the 3 of them go, and you guys can buy Dalton's life. If one of these 3 do not return, Dalton is dead. And you guys don't have his body.
Oh, okay, that... Yeah, if that's what you're saying. Yeah, then I would probably let him go then. We can
Gotcha.
get Dalton's body back.
So, we are going to sidetrack things here. As you guys have lost Dalton before you met back up with him. And we are going to have you guys basically sort of in waiting to hear from the Balcazars.
Hang on, is this combat over yet? Because he's still like within reach, kind of, isn't he?
I mean, you can go for him. Yeah.
I mean, my goal here is to recover Dalton's body. So what I'm thinking is, if we're about to have a potential another turn, I don't like the idea of like, hey, we're just gonna work out a deal and like buy back Dalton's body or whatever. So I'm thinking that Jinx is gonna run forward 30 feet, and then he's gonna yell, "Never count your chickens when you're sitting at the table." And I'm gonna go polymorph on the guy that grabbed Dalton into a chicken. Because right now we got like nothing to lose.
Well, there is that second assassin that could basically just. Well, Dalton's already dead, so I guess
Yeah, I mean, you're dead. They could potentially kill us, but also, like, I don't know that we can just trust them that we're going to be able to buy back their body. So I'm going to use my reaction and make you, what is it, either minus that or re-roll it?
Gotcha. Which one are you going to do?
I'm only allowed to do one. I just got to see which one it is. I think Silvery Barbs is the one I have to use on that.
Gotcha. So, it is a wisdom save on polymorph, or is it charisma?
No. It's Wisdom 15.
Gotcha. He does not turn into a chicken.
All right, so that's my action. I'm doing bonus action. I'm giving Bardic Inspiration to Gale.
What would you like to do with Terry?
I think Terry is going to just dash.
Should be able to get to the lower block below Karina.
That right there look good?
Yarp. Gale, you see Jinx reacting. What would you like to do?
And now, Gail, if your idea is still that you want to like work out the deal or whatever, that's completely fine. I'm not trying to take away your agency. I just know what I would do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that's fine. That was more like my knee-jerk reaction at first, though. So I think Gale's just gonna be like, fuck, 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 and follow Jigs. And let's see. Can get about there. Can I see the guy carrying
Yeah.
Dalton? Great. Perfect. I'm gonna cast the Maximilian's Earthen Grasp on that guy. So, oh, and I'm gonna use my the wand, Numenera's Rod, to give myself the 1+.
Gotcha.
But we changed that, right? So it's like not the full minute that it was. That it says it's just like the one time.
I haven't really decided on that. I don't think the minute is necessarily bad, but we're just going to keep that up in the air. As with most magical items that I create, we just have to see how they work out. But for now, it's for a minute.
Okay, that would be a 17 DC for strength then.
Gotcha.
Does he succeed with that?
Maximilian's Earthen Grasp. Are you within 30 feet of him?
Oh fuck, I looked at the wrong spell. I thought it was 60 feet. No, that's 30 feet, yeah. Oh, that's crap. Fuck it then. Yeah. Let's say I cast Black Tentacles instead. 4th level spell. Same thing, except it's... Yeah, it's a dexterity saving throw though then.
He seems to be moving between the actual tentacles.
Yeah, and I think it's just... Yeah, so that's, what is it? 30-foot cube? Around him? Yeah, that isn't horrifying. No, wait, sorry, read it wrong again. 20-foot cube, not 30. I thought I had it changed, but I apparently clicked the wrong spell. And that will be difficult terrain, all of that.
Gotcha. Going for something kind of like that where it's a little bit behind him, but mostly ahead.
Yeah, that's fine, yeah, so he can't run away that way. And if he ends his... I think is it... Let's see, yeah, no, if he ends his turn there, then the next turn he'll have to make another dexterity saving throw. If he starts there again, so to say. Because this isn't actually affecting him until the start of his turn.
Okay, he rolls that at the start, really?
Yeah, because it's when you start your turn inside of it.
Let's see. Let's see. What would you like to do with Bill?
Bill will follow a bit, but I think he will go up there, and then he will shoot the one by Karina.
Gotcha. You can go for that.
Oh, and he's gonna use his bonus action to put a hunter's mark on her. Get that. I think, yeah, roll 3 is a miss.
Yeah, should be a complete miss there.
And that would be a 16 to hit.
16 is a successful hit.
So he'll do 18 damage.
One, two, 6.
And that would be it for Bill.
Two, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, so the female is going to run up to the corner of this building here and she just kind of like reaches up and just with the same momentum as her actual movement, like slides a toe over the edge of the building, and you see is like the swing almost brings her up smoothly on top of the building as she just kind of like pulls herself up, and she's almost in like a kind of like Catwoman like pose, like over the gutter of this building, and she's got a small crossbow in her offhand. As she aims it down, she's going to aim for Bill, and she's going to say, House Balakar sends in their regards. Kill him, Ankran, and is going to shoot at Bill. For a crit. Don't believe you have a reaction, so I don't think there's anything you can do. And can you make a Constitution saving throw for me, please?
That is a 6.
That is going to outright kill Bill.
Kill Bill.
As he too is going to effectively be taking 2d8 and 14d6 damage. He'll just die outright. And then this one is going to actually do a fatal wound to Dalton and leave the body for you. And they are all going to continue to flee. So 6 will put him just about there. You'll hear a yell from behind. You should have chosen. I can't think what it is when you hold somebody ransom. You should have chosen the ransom. And he's going to shoot at Gale. And miss. And it's going to go back to Jinx.
So if I move up there with my regular move, how like much of them can I get in my sight?
I think you're right about to where you can get around the edge. I haven't measured it. Are you... That's... Yeah, I think that's enough around the building that you can probably see both of them. Maybe not her, because she's on top of the building.
Well, maybe I could do like an acrobatics check and get on top of like this wall and see them both at once or something like that.
Climbing for you is going to use more movement, so you would be further behind.
Well, is that like the type of thing where I can kind of like parkour like up like the side of the wall to just get a little elevation? I just want to be able to see them both at the same time so I can hold person.
Roll an acrobatics, let's see if it matters. I'm gonna say no with that.
It's 12.
12. Fine, go for it.
Okay, well I'm just gonna hold person them both.
They will seem to stop.
And I'm just gonna yell out, "Hold up now! Y'all just dropped your best bargaining chip." And then I'm gonna do bonus action for. I can't remember who I didn't give bardic inspiration to. Did I end up giving it to Gale there?
Yeah, you gave to me, so
Okay, so I'll give it to Terry. And Justin, do you want to do Terry? Do you want to act as him? I was just gonna do his like special attack where he does his signature attack and lets somebody run 30 feet to like catch up. But I mean, you could control him if you want to.
That's all right. I mean, you're more familiar with him, and you have his. Yeah, no, go ahead. I'm good. I've been playing around with Davros' sheet because I feel like he's going to have to come out of retirement.
All right. So yeah, Terry's gonna cover as much ground as he can and get up there and then do his signature attack. Can he get within 30?
oh, and I would drop, because I can drop my concentration anytime, right?
I don't know about between your turns, like during their turn, but I think for what it's worth, like, I don't think Terry can get on top of the building and to her, and she's the close one. I don't think it matters.
Okay.
Okay, well then he'll dash, move, and then do. Yeah, I was just thinking if Gale could get up closer so he could like have line of sight and everything, and we could all like be together, it would work better. So I guess he can't do his signature attack if he's not in combat. So I don't know if he can do that. Oh, maybe I'll just use his signature attack with like whatever his range weapon is, like a hand crossbow or something, or a bow and arrow.
Sounds good. Just make a dex based attack. Effectively, I think it's just an at d20. Maybe proficiency, so +3. And that'll hit. D6 damage.
Yeah, I don't know if Gale could actually like get within range if I do it. They're both hold personed right now, so I guess I'll just like have Gale move and try to do whatever he can. So, Gale, you make a normal move, and then you can either cast a spell or make a weapon attack.
I mean, can I see anyone from where? 'Cause I can't see the one on the roof, right?
Not from on the ground, no.
And the one who killed Dalton and ran away. Would I be able to see him? And if so, how far away would he
I'd
be?
say the wall of the building at that point is still in between you.
Yeah, I need line of sight.
Are we thinking, Gale? Are you finished? Do you want to do something with Bill?
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought this was from the like Tertian's signature thing with
Oh, I
moving.
mean, if you move with Terry Chin's signature, if we're done there, it's on your turn anyways.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would move a bit then, so I can see the one who ran away. So like from by Dalton's body, but I can see the guy. And is it like the distance he is away from me, or is it like further away?
Distance-wise, that's correct.
Yeah, then I think I'll actually cast Earth and Grasp on him, just to make sure. Like, yeah, I think that's the one I do. Earth and Grasp.
Gotcha. Roll the damage.
10 damage.
And from Bill.
Bill is gonna have to.
Wait, isn't Bill dead?
Oh yeah, right. Bill is dead.
Oh yeah, my bad. Bill is dead. Yep. End of each of its turn. Gotcha. You'd feel the hold person break on the female, but it's going to be your turn, Jinx.
Okay, I got you. And then the other one's just like a little bit off the map, but he's still paralyzed.
Indeed, yep.
And how does the paralyzed work again? Is it double damage in melee only, or what is that? It's like a.
Let's see. Advantage, and it's a crit within 5 feet of the creature. So that is effectively melee.
Okay, I don't think I can get within 5 feet, so. I'm just gonna cast Hold Person again, I think, on both of them.
Why on both? Oh, because you would break it to recast it. I got you.
Yeah, I'm basically like dropping it and then recasting it to try to lock them both down again.
Alright. Feel like they're both bound by hold person again.
Okay, and then I'm just going to use my move to get up here, and then again, I'm going to do a Bardic Inspiration. So what, Terry has it? Yeah, I guess then there's nobody left, so never mind. So no bonus action for me.
How goes the Davros right now, Justin? Do you have him all updated?
Yeah, he was at level 5, so I brought him up to level 7. So it's he's ready to go.
Gotcha. I don't know specifically what you guys are getting at here with the assassins, but we can kind of push forward to you guys do what you want to do with them. What is your goal with these two?
I think Gale's goal, at least, with the one that's both like restrained and hold person, the one who killed Dalton, he's trying to capture him. So like try to get. He knows they poisoned themselves the last time we met them, so like try to get any poisons away from them if he can find them.
Make an investigation check. And do you want to check the other one while he's doing that with Jinx?
Oh, that's a 21.
Well, you bring up a good point. What is our goal here? So, like, is it revenge? They already said it was the Balthazars that did it. Dalton's dead. We obviously effed that up. So, I don't really think I care much about them. I'm not necessarily like a ruthless killer, but also it's one less assassin. So, I think I like maybe give Terry the nod to murder him.
Gotcha. So the one has her head swept off. Uh, Now, Gale, you locate the poison like tooth, like effectively like a ceramic tooth in this person's mouth. Let me have you make a sleight of hand check.
Oh, I can use the bardic inspiration for that, right?
You can,
Yes, use it.
you can indeed. I
Is
think
it a
they've got a
D8 then?
D8 right now.
Yeah, D8.
That's a 14 total.
Meets beats. As you are removing this tooth from the person's mouth, you like are struggling to get it free, and in like the moment of kind of getting it loose, you feel like it crack, and you worry that you have indeed like poisoned this person. You hear the like sizzling in their mouth as a little bit of the poison actually drips into the person's mouth, and as it kind of runs down your own like finger, you can feel the burning action happening. Let me have you make a Constitution saving throw.
Nat 20.
Solid. You feel as it like burns through, like, you know, maybe you're wearing like silk gloves or something like that, like as it burns through your glove, through your skin, and you see the slightest bit of the actual bone of your fingertip as this like burns into it. And you now understand what it is that they do when they kill themselves. The poison eats them away from the inside out. You guys have seen one of these people do this, and their entire chest like caved in as it like rotted away with like a necrosis from within. This person has a little bit drop into their mouth. You see as it burns away like a quarter of their tongue before it kind of just dissipates. Most of it fell to the actual ground and does a little bit of damage to like the limestone of the ground here, but you have prevented this person from being able to kill themselves. So with that, let's bring Justin back into this and have you guys back at the Goblin House with Davros, and you guys have one of the Vi captive.
Damn, so if that polymorph would have went off, Dalton was still alive? He was just knocked unconscious?
No, he's been dead for a while.
No. I knocked him out unconscious. You guys didn't see that it was not a killing blow. But that's one of those things. Just like you guys have the choice of making a melee attack non-lethal, that attack on Dalton was non-lethal.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I was wondering why you said then she made a fatal strike, because I thought he was already dead, but that makes sense now.
But that again
Damn
was
you,
part of why I said to
polymorphs!
Chris that like this action here, and Justin got to hear it as well. Like this action here, I'm giving Dalton an out where we're not going to have to resurrect Dalton for you to get to play your character again. And that was part of why I wanted to put it forward to you guys. And I'm sorry, Justin Jinx, that I don't want to give you guys the chance to play it out at that point. I'm tempted to do DM Fiat because I kind of want to go that way. I'm fine to do it how we did it, but that's just one of those things where there's a level of like the DM Fiat was meant to serve Justin Dalton, because if you guys want him back alive, you pay the ransom. If you guys don't, you know, you do your thing. But like now it's just the same choice. It's just, do you revive him or do you not? But yeah, so let's pick up just back at the Goblin House, and you guys can continue with what you would like to do here. What is it? You guys have 4 bodies and 3 people living. Actually, I should say from that point. You guys have 4 bodies and 3 people living. What is your plan to get back to the Goblin House? Or are you going to St. Gustav's? Do you want to hire somebody to help you off the streets?
Yeah, we're gonna hire somebody named Debo. Jinx is gonna reach into his pocket. He's gonna pull out his figurine, throw it on the ground, and the gigantic dog is gonna arrive with Barding.
Hell yeah, okay. So I think you could pretty easily get 3 of the 4 bodies probably on the dog and be able to make your way there. So... God, that is so not conspicuous. I think suspicious, yeah, conspicuous. Let me have you guys roll a d10. This is just for Gale and Jinx.
Okay, at this point in time, is it worth? I think I would just say to Gail, basically like, Gail, we're in real bad shape right now. I could at least make some of this invisible. I mean, I don't know. We got to get the hell out of here and regroup. Bad. So should I like try to like invisible?
Roll an intelligence.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys can talk this out between yourselves as much as you want. If you want an idea from me, I think
Yeah,
let me just have you
down
guys
for an
talk it
idea.
out and make your decision.
Okay, I got you. So yeah, it's an 8. I mean, what you think, Gail? There could be more of them. At least one of them got away. I don't want to get stopped by the guards or hit up by more assassins. God knows that the werewolf's going to strike again. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I mean, I think we should get out of here as soon as possible. You have something to help us get away quickly or unnoticeable.
I mean, I upcast this invisibility and I could hit a couple of targets with it. It wouldn't be all of us, but it'd be damn near.
All right. I mean, if you think that works, I'm perfectly fine going visible if need be.
I mean, I would be basically making Debo and anything it's carrying invisible, and then, well, one more of us. So it's either you or me.
I mean, then let's. I mean, that works. Split up, and you can be invisible. I'll get to the Goblin House on my own.
No. Don't split up. I'll make me and Debo invisible, all the bodies, but we stay right at your side, or you stay right at ours. We stay together, just in case.
All right.
All right, man. I'm right by your side, so just keep an eye out, all right? You're going to be the only target, so you're going to be extra vulnerable. Yeah, so with that, you would see Jinx start to weave, and then he would hit himself and Debo with invisibility, and all the bodies as well, because they're being carried.
They are indeed objects at this point, so they will become some of the objects that are invisible with him. And it's just Gale, effectively, who is not invisible at that point.
Yeah. Oh, it's been a minute since we started the fight, right? By now, I should roll one
Yeah,
more
yeah,
dice.
yeah. That's fine.
An 8.
Oh, and do you want me to go ahead and roll for Debo too, because I'm overcharging him?
That's fine.
Okay, 11. He's good.
And the plan is to go to St. Gustav's. Are you all going back to the Goblin House? Where are you taking everybody while you guys are invisible?
I don't think there's really a reason to go to the Goblin House. At this point in time, we're in rough shape, so I would think the best thing to do is go straight to St. Gustav's and try to like get some of this sorted out. And again, we got to reach out to Davros and let him know that shit hit the fan again.
Gotcha. So let me have Gale roll a d20 and a dexterity saving throw from Jinx. Does Debo have stats? Can you do a dexterity saving throw from Debo as well?
Yeah, you should just have dog stats.
If you go into extras on D&D Beyond and click companion, can you add yourself a giant mastiff or a mastiff? I'm not sure if it has to be giant, but that can be your dog stats. Do you know what I'm talking about, like with the extras tab?
Yeah, I'm doing it right now.
Hell yeah. Will you roll the d20 like right away though, and we'll see if it even possibly matters.
Yeah, so I got 16 for Jinx, and I rolled a flat 10 for Debo, and I'm checking his stats right now.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I rolled a 19.
Excellent. Yeah, I don't think that really matters in the long run what Debo's actual stats are. I think with a 10, yeah, I was going to say, I think with a 10, it's not going to be enough that he fails by enough that, like, something catastrophic happens. It would be more the fact that, like, Gale, you 100% know or notice that as you're walking down the street, you hear people who are, like, bumping into Debo and, like, people basically exclaiming, like, wait, what was that? Did you just feel something? Oh my gosh, I swear somebody just pushed me out of the way. And, like, you know, people getting knocked over, all kinds of weird things. It's only, say, like 3 or 4 people out of the 100 that you would walk by going these few blocks. But in the long run, it's kind of that semi-comical, like, yeah, there's a gigantic mastiff, you know, a gigantic dog with 3 bodies on it, and nobody can see this. And it's just a titan that's kind of like pushing them out of the way. So then, let's put you all, basically, the call out to Davros is sent, and we can have you all meeting at St. Gustav's in Midtown. And we have the captive as well. Oh, shit. Could you make the captive invisible as well? Did you do that? Did you think that part?
Oh, wait, is that person still alive? No, I can't. I can only do... I spent my high-level slot on the chicken. So I guess Gale would have to, like... Or maybe I could carry him. Yeah, it wouldn't be on... Man, I don't know. I don't think I
If
can
you
do that.
make the captive invisible and don't make yourself invisible.
Okay, yeah, I'm good with that. I'm cool with that. Yeah.
So
I'll be
let me have my bad on the D20, Gale. I'm gonna put both of you at roll a D12, please. Instead, I'm sorry that you already like succeeded with the D20. Maybe let me have Gale. You do the D12 with advantage. So you just need to not roll 2 1s with your D12 because you already rolled the D20 and were successful. I think that works.
Okay.
Excellent. Yeah, so same idea just goes by. That was just because, like, part of what I was getting at with the intelligence check is you guys are more suspicious when you're traveling as your group. When one person is traveling alone, it's a lot harder to pick you guys out as who you are. When you guys are the 3 of you and, you know, or the 6 of you, you're a whole lot more suspicious because it's like, this is who you're looking for versus one out of all the people in the city. So, we are at St. Gustav's. You guys can head into the chapel. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't meet any good reason, but Davros receives his shadow sending and is basically there almost as quick as you guys are. He's not encumbered by having to be stealthy. He can also, be running out of the guild district where you guys are traveling a little bit slower. But we're putting Davros there at the same time, so Justin is not isolated from the game. And you guys are basically walking into St. Gustav's. Kind of middle of the day, but there's still not really people here. Let's go. You do see a young woman who is like praying towards the front of the chapel, like almost towards the center of the chapel. Again, this is kind of a cross with those three little alcoves beyond like the initial area where people can walk in and kind of do their own prayers. And the priest is close to her, but they're not necessarily like right next to each other in conversation. But the priest is probably about 5 or 10 feet away as you guys walk into St. Gustav's. Do you want to immediately like call to Brother Fabio Thisk? Do you want to wait for these two to perhaps separate themselves? What are your thoughts as you enter the chapel? And again, as far as I'm concerned, Davros is walking in at the same time that Gale and Jinx are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking he shows up like maybe like a minute later, and like he's normally he's kind of like a normally fairly devout person, but having gotten the message and this is only maybe like a month or so after the first one, so
well, real time, honestly. Yeah, it
maybe
almost
not
is
even a
like a
month.
month ago, basically. Because I think we did about 3 weeks between the death in the revivification. So yeah, it kind of is right along that like 1 month. I just didn't want to tell you show up a minute later, but if you are fine role playing showing up a minute later, that is perfectly fine. I absolutely hate telling people to not participate in the game though. So
No,
join.
yeah, it was more like so he could he you see the door to the church the chapel slam open, and he comes kind of rushing in, breathing heavy, sweaty, kind of obviously ran here. And I imagine when they first enter the chapel, the bodies are still invisible. So he
Well,
looks
I was
towards.
gonna say, if you arrive a minute after them and they don't make a point to like make their way into the chapel, Davros might arrive and the door seems propped open, and Davros is going to get a very big surprise of why he can't enter the chapel even though the door is open. Because yeah, the dog and the bodies are invisible.
Yeah, so he looks towards Jinx and Gale, and he kind of probably, I guess, yeah, not seeing the body immediately. He's gonna roar out at them is this your idea of a joke? Um,
I wish we were joking, brother, but they're invisible. They're right here. We'll tell you more about it when we get inside. It was a hit. We didn't even stand a chance. So I think I would like usher everybody inside the last little bit, and then once we're inside, I would drop the invisibility and everything.
All right,
yeah,
no worries about the woman who is there though.
Oh, is that just like a full-on rando person, not like a affiliate?
Roll a perception check.
yeah. Davros for his part is completely laser focused, so he's nobody else exists kind of for him.
The perception is 10.
Yeah, it is a random woman.
Okay, well, I wouldn't want to freak her out, startle her, or have her run and get in the guards or anything, or put her in danger. So I would hang tight, maybe just let Davros know, um, that we have him here invisible. Maybe so he could touch and feel that they're there.
So the entry part of the chapel is say the lower section. is probably about like 40 by 40, so it's not like you guys can't whisper. It is definitely one of those things where you also kind of know if you whisper in the right areas, the way the acoustics work, it like almost magnifies your voice on like the opposite like arm of the cross that St. Gustav's is kind of created as. So there's definitely a certain level of like you can whisper, but maybe not go into details about everything that's going on because somebody could still be listening. But effectively, you can whisper to Davros, that his son is here invisible, and you're just kind of waiting a moment.
Okay, yeah, and then we would have to like get one of the like actual church employee people to summon Thisk for us, hopefully.
Fisk is actually treating with the woman right now. He's the one who's about 5 feet in front of her.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood that or like missed that detail. Okay. So can we try to like get his attention like subtly at all?
Yeah, what are you like trying to I feel like this is going to be pretty easy as a bard, but like what are you trying to like perform? What are you trying to mime to him?
Okay, so I'm gonna look at the lady. I'm gonna like roll my eyes, and then I'm gonna do like a little like circular like motion with my finger, like the old like, come on, let's wrap it up, like. And then I will just sort of like flash him like some of my like injuries or whatever, so he can see like we're in rough shape right now. Like we got to do this.
Gotcha. Are you evidently bloodied?
Actually no, but I fell off that
I
building and
guess
took
you would have
18
blood
damage.
from the day before too, kind of on your
Yeah.
clothing. Okay. Uh, yeah, he's not especially kind of like picking up on things, but let me see how well you evoke.
It is a 1, so I would imagine he
Fantastic.
knows exactly what I'm saying. I will take inspiration from that though.
Yeah, he just kind of like looks at you and like holds up a hand and like does like the actual like symbol of the cross, of Lothian for you, and seems to just kind of say like, "I'll be with you in a moment," with a weird kind of like shrugging off. And a few minutes are gonna go by before the woman kind of like walks by with her head kind of like drop down. She never seems to make any eye contact with anybody, and is basically just kind of like peeking out from under a hood as she leaves the chapel.
Actually, I was going to say that Davros, if he notices Jinx like trying to get the priest's attention when the priest turns and doesn't seem to like get the urgency, Davros is going to like. I don't know if he's met Fisk. I can't remember, or if he only met the other one.
Ooh,
But he's
that's
basically
definitely
like,
one of those details. I'm pretty sure Davros was spent enough time in Delver Square, so let's say yes, but I'm not entirely sure.
okay, or maybe he's been, he's at least knows, of him. Probably Dalton told him about him, or if he has met him. But he's gonna, so yeah, he's gonna like essentially like shout out, still like kind of in a bit of a rage at having heard the news. Like he's gonna like shout out like Fisk now. Um, when he like turns and like gives the sign and then turns back to the woman because he's not in his right mind right now.
Let me have you do an intimidation check, please.
All right. That's a dirty 20.
Alrighty, so this is going to change kind of how I was pointing things to go here. As you kind of are with like frustration, kind of like push to it with the Fisk now, you see as the two of them kind of like turn up and look to you. And in the moment that you're basically trying to force this as like that like grunt of intimidation, you all are going to notice her eye kind of making contact I'm pretty sure Fawn Quarterbane has met all of this group, and you are going to notice that this is indeed Fawn, and she is perhaps going against what she should be doing and still meeting with Brother Fabiathor Fisk. You will know that she was always very devout, and even while she was running her affair, she spent almost every single day in this chapel. So as she kind of like looks up, she like catches eye of who it is and immediately kind of like exhales with like glee as she's going to run over to the three of you who are visible and with happiness, glee, so excited, throwing hugs and just embracing you all. Fawn Quartermain is going to run over to you guys, so excited to see the three of you. And all of you are well. It's so fantastic to see you. Oh, I'm so elated. I'm so excited. I can't wait to tell you everything that's been happening. Oh, you have to meet my son. It's so wonderful to see all of you. How have you been? Everybody is doing... You have a little bit of blood, but you are otherwise looking so wonderful. Everybody is healthy and good. And she's just kissing and hugging and like moving between you guys just like 100 miles an hour.
Yes, Davros just kind of like stands there like stoically, like he's been pretty, the previous times they've met, he's been pretty like friendly, but he's not like pushing her away exactly, but he's just kind of like standing there, kind of like rigid. And maybe when she mentions like, "Oh, you have to meet my son," he'll kind of like his shoulders will kind of like visibly slump as kind of some of the rage dissipates into more just kind of like grief. But he's not saying anything just yet. He's still kind of trying to process the what's happened, especially after kind of just getting over the the shock of having Dalton die the first time.
It's great to see you too, Fawn. I hope you'll excuse us. It's not everything is what it seems to be. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. And with that, Jinx will drop the invisibility.
Gotcha. So, like, Fisk was already kind of making his way over to meet with you guys as is. But as the invisibility drops, you guys, like, basically put these bodies on display on top of this big dog, Debo. Between Fawn and Fisk, it's definitely going to be a jump to recognize... to recognize, like, what has really happened. And for what it's worth, just like this, because it's a large amount of is, and he just kind of like goes to investigate and see. This one is breathing. At least they're not all dead. Should I ask what has happened here?
It was sort of a culmination of bad things. I'm sure you recognize your boys in there. He summoned us to discuss some serious issues, but we were ambushed shortly after. I mean, it really wasn't even an ambush.
Just to remind you, Kale Resident doesn't have a head. So, the real recognition would be if you pull the head out of your bag and you actually show him the head.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry. I didn't even think about that. I assumed you'd recognize the arm of the headless fellow over there. Well, you know who it is. And I will. I'll pull it out and show him. Yeah.
So, definitely an exclamation from Fawn as you basically, unceremoniously kind of pull the head of somebody she was pretty close to from the body. And you'll have a pretty similar kind of shock as Fisk like kind of connects the dots on the armor and sort of like the lack of recognizing at first the body of Kelrescent. I must hear everything, but first, and he's just going to call out, and you'll hear him call for Inanath. Uh, and you'll hear somebody like immediately kind of like moving in the back left kind of wing of the chapel. And so you guys kind of tell him the story, effectively kind of sharing like one of these people is not like the others. The others are all people that you care about and are hoping don't have to be permanently dead, I would assume.
I mean, ideally, we'd save them all. And, I mean, sort of, we're good for it. You know, whatever it costs.
Whatever it takes. Do what you did the last time.
Yeah, so Thisk is going to basically take some oils and some herbs from Inanath, who's effectively one of the Sisters of Silence. You'll see, like, her actual garb is that pretty monk-like black drab, like, it's flowing, but it is very much, like, kind of like caters to sort of their like dexterous builds. The Sisters of Silence are one of the policing forces of the city, but they also tend to be closely attached to the actual church itself. But she comes out and, again, just without any words at all, sort of hands these oils off to Thisk. He is going to start anointing each of these bodies, the wounds, casting spells over each of them. But as he sort of finishes this, he'll kind of like after, and it's only like a few minutes of time, looking to Davros and, I'm very sorry, my friend. There's little more I can do but to preserve their bodies. And we can keep them here interred for as long as perhaps it might require. And if their soul is willing, we can perhaps return them. But it is a lot to ask that we return them to life. They may have moved beyond this plane. The materials required may simply not be here any longer. But I will do what I may. But for my part, if I am not at the side of the death, I fear there's always little that I can do. We will have to speak with somebody stronger in the will of Lothian than I.
So Davros, kind of like, he just like shakes his head and we'll speak to whoever we need to get whatever we can. And if his soul doesn't want to come back, I'll go and drag it back myself. He's kind of like talking nonsense like that. He's just like, yeah, but he's, he's like, whatever you need, we'll get it. And it's as he says that, he kind of like looks towards Gale and Jinx, almost like glaring at them, like daring them to be like, almost contradict him. Not so much that he thinks because they would, but again, just because he's just like kind of this mix of rage and grief and stuff at this point.
Whatever it takes, we'll get it. We'll bring him back. It ain't gonna be easy. It ain't gonna be cheap, but it'll be worth it. So, sort of just like reassuring Davros, like, because like definitely feel like responsible because it keeps happening. It's like guilt by association.
I definitely 100% see Davros looking at him like, say what again? Say what, motherfucker? So when you're kind of like saying this sort of like dedication to saving Dalton, Fisk will attend like in particular to like Davros and kind of like holding him by the shoulders, like looking you in the eye, and the will of Lothian is perhaps beyond what we see in this world. But your strength is his strength. If you have such dedication, you must know your son will not be far away for long. Lothian works through us all, and perhaps this is his way of reminding you that your work is more than what you have so long done, but what you have strived so hard to avoid. And perhaps at your son's side is where you truly belong. Father and son, and he'll like look towards the others and kind of like pulling them sort of into this kind of like circle now, like at your son's side with these fellow heroes of Tolis, you all stand as a bulwark against the darkness to come, against the evil of the cults of chaos. Perhaps this is where Lothian requires you to be. Perhaps one day we will all see the sun, the light, Parnath smile on us all by Lothian's will.
Yeah, I'll second what he said.
So Davros kind of like he's gritting his teeth. He's kind of like unblinking, like looking into at the priest as he's saying this, and kind of not much expression on his face, and then he'll finally kind of like exhale, kind of loudly, and then just give like a kind of a very stiff nod of his head. But otherwise not verbally responding.
Yeah, I think it would be pretty evident that he understands there's like a sort of like danger of what can be lost sort of in this moment, that your faith is going to be put to a test. And while he's trying to show you like the first sort of like path there, he also doesn't necessarily like want to like beat it with a dead horse to make it too much of a point. But on some level, that's sort of where he's going to, and seems to be sort of holding. So, do we want to take a break here? I feel like this is a good opportunity for us to break and try to decide like what level do we go to next. Again, it's sort of beyond his magical powers to use any sort of resurrection beyond a revivify, and you're beyond the time frame of revivification. Do we want to search for those higher groups of the church? Do you guys want to just go straight into the necropolis and see if you can find Gravesbane before searching out those people? And perhaps I think those are sort of the decisions ahead.
Yeah, maybe just a quick break. I think Davros is, obviously his only goal is to do whatever it takes to get Dalton back. So he'd be open to whichever either if we think that we can get the higher ups to take action, or if we need to go into the necropolis to get the stuff ourselves, whichever um, whichever one of those.
My bad. And it's still relatively early in like the day, right? Because that was like the morning, basically. We got
Yeah, effectively. You're probably like early or late morning, early like noonish.
yeah. So I mean, I would think that it's probably not a bad idea to try to get the Gravesbane like as soon as possible. Because I know like how you would think in that situation, specifically like Davros, but like all you would be like thinking about is like making progress towards bringing him back. So I would think that would be the route to go.
Did you keep Davros as a barbarian? Did you respec him as a fighter? Where is Davros now?
Yeah, so at this point he is a fighter. I was almost thinking of making his 7th level like essentially going back to barbarian as a rage, but I kept him as a fighter because he basically like he's been training and going back to some of his regular work and stuff. But I had respect him as a fighter before, so I just kept him as a fighter.
Excellent. What sort of weapon do you want him to be using?
So on his sheet right now, I actually have him as he has Silumor, the twinned greatsword.
Okay, he's got
Or
the other one. Excellent.
So he'll probably stick with that, unless one of the other sidekicks carrying it has the other one.
I think Terry Chin actually has it, so Terry Chin and him can't really be rocking it out. But Terry Chin can also rock out his sword spear, called Spear. But yeah, let's take a quick little break here. Come back in the next few minutes, and we will rejoin this thought.
All right, sounds good.
Man, it seems like every time we try to get anything done, we like end up digging ourselves like a little further in the hole.
Isn't that just how D&D goes?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Legitimately, I think it's also in part anytime you try to get something done that's like heroic and like trying to save people kind of thing versus just like pushing forward despite the deaths.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, lately, like all of our hiccups have been deaths, but even before that, it was like always like, oh, you feel like you get one step closer, but really you're like 2 steps back.
Alrighty. Everybody's back. I believe I heard Justin as well.
Yep, I'm here.
Before you guys leave here, do you have any thoughts? Are you guys like effectively like ready to leave? Do you have any other questions you wanted to put to Brother Thisk, or are you guys thinking going elsewhere at this point?
I guess Davros would probably want to know, like, when he says, we might need to speak to someone more higher, higher up. Basically, just like tell us who we need to speak to.
I probably should have thought about this ahead of time and actually looked up ahead of the church.
I mean, you don't have to actually, but that's what he would like basically say, like, just give me a name. Who do I? But we can just assume that Fisk told him something, or
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea to approach. Because I think there's basically sort of two answers to that. Probably giving you like the head of the church in like priests who serve different chapels, and that would kind of be like the main chapel inside of the temple district. And then also the head of the church, the highest priest in the chapel that's in the noble district, and then the head of the church, as in the emperor of Tarsus. So I think you kind of have, or not even the emperor, it would be like the Pope version, head of the church, who kind of competes as the emperor of Tarsus. So you kind of have those sort of three answers. Only one of them is like sort of that specific person. So I'll probably have to just get back to you about who the highest in the Temple District is, the highest in the Nobles District, and then effectively the head of the church as the Emperor of Tarsus is a particular person.
yeah. I mean, Davros is ready. He'll go. He's like, I'll go find Lothian himself if I have to. Yeah.
So do we pretty much know at this point in time or not that Gravesbane is like an essential part of all the different ways you could like bring somebody back?
Roll an Arcana check. All of you can roll it. I don't think Davros really needs to, but if he rolls a 20, it might be effective.
16.
17.
Nope. Davros is an 11. I think maybe he like the first time Dalton died, he like tried to do a little research. So that'd be the only reason he would have possibly any idea, but he does not know. Davros is a slow reader. He's not that smart.
So with a 16, I don't think you would necessarily know all resurrection types, because those would all be shrouded behind magical secrets. But I think it's safe to say you know at least the resurrection that I have to look up her name, the lady from the Knights of the Pale, the resurrection that she used previously does indeed use it. And I think that's where your sort of immediate answers might go to. If you got Gravesbane, you could go to the Knights of the Pale with your friends and hopefully have them resurrected. If you get Gravesbane and go to clerics of the Church of Lothian, they might be able to cast that same one. It might all use the same herb. You don't actually know.
So yeah, I think that would be my idea is to just go ahead, put out the word like we're coming in hot and go get the Gravesbane in the meantime.
Gotcha. Yeah, like, so shadow sendings are pretty easy to set up and send. They're a pretty simple solution to the idea of communicating around a large city like this. In general, most of the time, just to send a message one way is effectively like 5 silver. So I'm not normally going to have you like removing stuff. But just as a sort of idea on this one, because you are contacting somebody who's a little bit more busy, sort of thing. When you are contacting the Knights of the Pale, do you want to directly message her? Do you want to message her Major Domo? Like, what are you thinking when you send this? We're coming in hot.
I think her. I would go straight to the source.
Gotcha. So, Dearna Hillershawn. Gotcha. Um, what is your message?
Is this one restricted to like keep it short and sweet? Is that what this is?
With the shadow sending, it's more you can send what you need to send. It costs more the more you need to send.
Okay, I got you. But it's not like limited specifically. Okay, so I would just say, Deanna, it's Jinx again. It got bad. We lost a few. We need them back, whatever it takes. We're going for Gravesbane. We're bringing the bodies to you. Please be ready for us. They mean a lot to us. One in particular. The other two also, but just all three of them. Yeah. All right. Bye. I'll hang up or whatever you do next.
All three, and you have 4 dead bodies.
Wait, who's the fourth?
Kale
Oh
Rescent,
my god,
Karina,
everyone is dead.
Bill,
There's so many dead
and
people. I
Dalton.
forgot. I literally forgot about C. Alright, I'm messengering again. Sorry, it's been a crazy week. Kind of lost track there. Four very, very important people that all 100% need to be resurrected. Coming in hot. With the Gravesbane, hopefully. Alright. See you soon. Why does everyone always die?
I mean, I feel like that again is like the hardcore downside of the sidekicks, is that it's just damage dice. So that like assassin ability of 76 poison damage is a sidekick killer for sure.
Yeah, I feel like, especially as you get higher levels, the damage expands faster than their hit dice do. So sidekicks become a little more fragile.
Well, and part of the idea also is the sidekicks won't ever actually go over level 7. Once you guys hit level 8, they're at max level at 7.
Right? Yeah.
Justin, you weren't there for it, but the way the barbarians take damage was like the way that the sidekicks take damage. So if you like try to do like chip damage, it was literally not doing anything to them. It was only when we did like something big that we were able to actually like down one or two of them.
I mean, they could have taken damage from it, but I was basically using sidekicks as the barbarians. So it's like if you do 4 damage, I need to not roll a 1. If you do 14 damage, I need to like not roll a 4 or lower.
Yeah, I mean, and that kind of tracks with like like a PC barbarian's rage ability. They just shrug off blows that would down a more normal person.
Yeah, it was super thematic. It was definitely fun, but I was like, damn, like we need some like big damage stuff, or we're never gonna end this combat.
So let's see. I think her response to you The Knights of the Pale are ever in your service. If you have 4 companions who are dead, we will require some large amount of Gravesbane, as well as time. But we shall give you what we may in order to keep them each in our stead, in our presence, and in our care. If your friends are well taken care of, please do not hesitate to begin the rituals of anointation so that their bodies may be preserved. If not, I can send for Stylus to retrieve their bodies, and my own order can begin taking care of them until such a time as you have the necessary herbs and unguents that we require.
So yeah, I would just let everybody know what she said, and then we're already anointed, so I think we're good on that part, right?
Yeah. Effectively, this is her not necessarily aware that you've already taken them to Thisk. But yeah, the gentle repose is essentially what I was getting at there. To begin the preservation process, because that can indefinitely postpone their resurrection.
Now, obviously, with everything going on, plus our additional body count, I'm sure the Graves vein is getting more and more like difficult to get. Is there a possibility, like, is there like an herb trader or something like that locally that would potentially sell some as well? Or is that like not even an option at this point? It's like confiscated by like the city.
So, part of the idea that I was getting at here is to avoid the use of diamonds, which would be hoarded, as they are effectively good whenever you need a resurrection. The idea of using a herb, I think, is a little bit more of a twist on turning it into something that if you harvest it before you need it, you're throwing it away. It's going to die and rot away. It needs to be growing until you're ready to use it, kind of thing. So there was definitely a rarity and a searching process to what you can find going after Gravesbane. And you guys were successful that first time. I'll try to make it a little bit harder. I'm not even sure I wrote down a solid, um, took good notes on how I made you search for it. But effectively, the idea of doing an herb is one, it's reserved for that high level resurrection power. And then two, it is immediate use. It's not like a diamond that if you have diamonds on you, those diamonds are going to be there until you burn them in resurrection.
Okay, that's what's up. That makes a lot more sense actually. So last time we had Nephew with us, which really helped because she was like able to do it, and we also split up. So this time we need more. We don't have Nephi, and it's probably not the best idea to split up. So it may be a little more difficult this time.
Yeah, and I imagine something like it's not even something that can be cultivated because otherwise, like probably every chapel would have like a little garden. It's like maybe there's something very specific that it only grows like wild.
No, quite literally, part of the thing is it's growing from dead creatures. Like, it's consuming the life of the dead, basically, to create
Oh
this
yeah, yeah.
thing. That's why it grows on grave sites, and in particular, ancient grave sites. That's why the other place she was going to send you was effectively, to a ruined, elvish village, where basically these, kind of natives were basically eradicated.
Yeah, just maybe so it's something that like maybe it takes like decades or centuries to actually like bloom or flower or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Shit. What's it called? Um. Damn, it's the root. I want to say ginger, but that's wrong. It's the root that like grows and it looks like a creature. Um.
Mandrake.
Yeah, mandrake is kind of what I have in mind as like what you're actually like harvesting it for, because it like looks like a person. I love that scene from Pan's Labyrinth where she's like growing this mandrake in the milk to like keep her mom healthy, and it like comes alive like as a way to like preserve her health.
Oh yeah, that was such a good movie. I wish they would do like a dub over on that, so it wasn't just subtitle.
I've watched it so many times I feel like I speak Spanish when I'm watching that movie now. Alrighty, so when you all are leaving Midtown, do you have any requirements before you head out? Is there anything that you would like to procure before going to the necropolis? If you don't think there's anything in particular, it's not a big deal. So we can head off there. Do you guys want to stop off at the Goblin House and pick up more sidekicks? Right now, technically speaking, you only have Terry Chin with the three of you.
Davros he's just ready to go, so I think he's going to he's not really interested in picking up a sidekick.
Now I'm debating on if I can convince Bob to go back to where she died.
Not just died, ripped to shreds.
Yeah, I mean, that gotta be traumatic.
Make a persuasion.
Oof, yeah, no, I do not convince Bob to come with me. That is a 5.
So Davros doesn't want to take the time. Gail like sends the shadow sending off to Bob to see if she will, gather, one of your other sidekicks, and the two of them meet you guys at that southeastern or southwestern entrance. And you basically get sort of a message back from Bob that Tom and Bob are effectively like, we're going to care for Tom while she lies in repose. Sorry, but I'm not sorry to not be going back there.
I mean, Trogdor's been itching to come out. Could let him play.
I'm going to leave it at you've got your sidekick, and the two of them have made very good role play scenarios to not have sidekicks out there. So, while you guys are heading out, over the skies of Tolis, at times you've seen like balloons, you've seen like things flying about. Occasionally you'll see a wizard flying in and out of the invisible inverted pyramid. Today, while you guys are heading towards the necropolis, you are going to see a dragon off to the north. And it's a ways away, probably within 20 or 30 miles, and it seems to just be sort of like flying almost in like oblong figure eights. I kind of want to say like it's doubling back on itself, but never going fully back. So it's sort of slowly moving westward, flying back a little bit eastward, flying westward, back a little bit eastward. So it's always going a little bit further westward. And this is just kind of off in the distance that you guys see this thing apparently flying some sort of plotted path off on the north of Tolus. Any of you who are local, will you do a history check for me?
It's a 4 for Davros.
Jinx is 17.
And Gale is 13.
You said 17 with Jinx?
Yeah, that's right.
One of the noble families is rumored to be a family of dragons. I want to say it starts with a D, and I don't want to search too hard to find it. I think Dallister Manor. The Dallisters, I believe, are rumored to be dragons. Oh wait, no, I see it here. Dallimathan estate. The Dallimathan family is rumored to be dragons. They are rarely seen, but people say that they are golden dragons. This dragon that you see, hard to decide whether it is some sort of like yellow, almost like lightning based. Could be some sort of like yellow, sort of like gem dragon. It could be a golden dragon. It's hard to make out whether you should expect this thing to be chromatic or golden. But on some level, you can kind of connect the dots that if this thing isn't specifically attacking Tolus, this may actually be truth to the rumor that this family, this noble family, is indeed dragons.
So the rumors are true. They really are dragons. Perhaps there's some hope for Tolus yet.
You all have entered into the necropolis kind of recognizing that there are like professional mourners who are kind of like crying and weeping and mourning like on the outskirts, just sort of looking for anybody who's going to inter a body. They try to hire themselves out. Those who have the largest funerals are sort of more renowned. It means more people care for you. Are you just passing by these people as you head into the necropolis? Do you all have any thoughts of hiring any of them?
Davros is like he's like glaring at them, almost like daring them to offer their services. It's like, we'll give you a funeral. He's not like going up to them, but he's like kind of like trying to essentially like he doesn't want them coming near him.
What could we try to proposition and see if any of them would be skilled at or willing to like search for or help us search for Gravesman if we like paid them?
How do you think you would do that?
So I would just like sort of announce to like the group or whoever's around, we're not looking for anyone to help us mourn. I understand that y'all good working people. We're in search of Gravesbane. We need a lot of it. and we need it fast. Anyone that helps us, a fine reward. Gold pieces. 20 apiece.
Um, so there's already this guy who's like been sort of like bouncing around you all, very much kind of like a fool or a jester. I'm thinking like Eric Idle from Monty Python. I can't think of the specific role, but I want to say it's like Life of Brian, I think. Oh yeah, yeah, when he plays the guy who Jesus cured of his leprosy, like he's kind of like bouncing around you guys and like always kind of like leaping from his feet kind of thing, and he's just like very excited to be around, and he's already like approached Davros like 2 or 3 times with kind of like maybe like a gold to mourn for you, and then like Davros like eyes him and he like scares him away for a few minutes, and he like kind of runs away so Davros can't swing on him, comes back up and like approaches one of you and he's like 5 silver, and like he's already like dodging away, like ducking and running, and then he hears you as you kind of like bring up Gravesbane, and he's like, I could help you find some Gravesbane, 5 gold pieces, and he's already like ducking and weaving, dodging and like running away by the time he like gets out the full sentence.
We got one. Come on, brother. Help us out. Anybody else want to man up? Do some good in this world? Earn some keep?
I'm not sure this is wise, Jinx.
Desperate times call for desperate measures, my friend.
But now they know what we're looking for. This is as valuable as, well,
And guys like running between you guys, like still like popping around. It's definitely like a crackhead, basically. Like levels of, oh, I know these graves better than anyone around here. There's nobody better than me. Give me 10 gold pieces and I'll get you twice as much.
Well, I hope you're wrong, Davros, but regardless, the damage is done. Come on now. You got yourself a deal.
So definitely, absolutely annoying the shit out of Davros the entire time. This guy is fucking happy. He just, everything about him is happy, and he is a terrible professional mourner. There's no reason that this guy should be doing this job, as it should be clear that nobody approaching this place is not dealing with death. And he's just happy, go lucky, bouncy, excited to help. Definitely kind of like a really excited puppy who just wants to help you and has nothing but love, but you just want to be salty and angry right now. And he's just bouncing around happy and excited. Um, do you guys pick up any other mourners, or are you just going in with this guy who can help you find Gravesbane?
yeah, Davros has no interest in. He's none too pleased with our recent acquisition, but he shakes his head and just kind of glares at him and tries to kind of
So my
make him
real
keep his
point
distance.
is that once you guys get to the actual doors, once the queue kind of gets you guys up to the guards, it's probably about high noon. You don't really have like a large kind of congregation with you. It really is just the 5 of you at this point. You've got this one guy bouncing around all happy, like he's not even dressed in black. He's like dressed in just normal sort of like commoner's clothing or like beggar's clothing kind of thing. And the guards are just sort of like asking you, what you're getting to. I feel like this is the perfect time not to try to like sweet talk them, but to have Davros do an intimidation to see how long you're kind of like held up in the process of getting through the doors.
Yeah, Davros, I think, is gonna kind of like he moves forward, and if they start to ask, he'll just
Oh, my bad. When I do an intimidation to a barb, A barbarian. I always think. Oh wait, he's not a barbarian. I'm going for it anyways. Do a strength-based intimidation, please.
Sure. I think I still have that on my sheet for him.
My bad. You can still explain what you're doing. I didn't mean to interrupt you like that, but I just wanted to make sure you knew I wasn't trying to make you suffer for it.
Oh yeah, no worries. All right, so strength intimidation, that would be a 15 total. I think he's just going to kind of like essentially not stop walking, like almost like kind of like as if he like if they moved to stop, he just kind of like barrel right through them, and I think he's just going to say, "Our business is our own. It's a public place, isn't it?"
You said it's a puppet place?
Public place. Sorry.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, so there's a guard who's like trying to question you guys as you're like 5-10 feet away, and like Dalton or Davros is just like walking towards him, and the guy's like trying to talk to him. He's got like a clipboard in front of him, trying to take some like names of you, the size of your party, and he just has like Davros just kind of walking past him. It's a public place. Just shoulder kind of slams him, and you hear like his armor kind of like ring as this guy's like slam back into the stone wall, and you just kind of hear from behind you, Davros, as he kind of calls up to you. I'll just go ahead and fill out the paperwork then. Be out before dark.
And Davros just kind of grunts in response to that.
So last time when we came in, you all came in from this western, sort of northwestern, beneath the 125 of the Quiet. The road that basically leads right towards where Abnerath is, like in that lake. This time you guys are heading in at the gate at like 127 that leads in right by the waiting. Last time you searched sort of that northern area and the area right below it, so you kind of searched that southern and northern sections. Where would you guys like to go today? Where do you want to start in the necropolis?
Are we aware of any parts of the necropolis that typically have like older graves? I wonder like if the if it was essentially like built out over time. The oldest graves, which I guess maybe have the best chance of actually having this gravesbane would be, and
So truly the oldest graves would be around the Dark Reliquary.
gotcha. Yeah, I mean, obviously, as a player, I know that's probably not the best idea, but Davros he's not really thinking of the dangers to himself right now, so he's just like wherever wherever we have to go to find it, let's go there.
The necropolis itself, though, is also an ancient place. It's not like it was originally built and immediately so like densely packed with graves. It's definitely something where by the time the dead started to rise, they sealed off the gates and it was already quite packed, and it's only gotten more packed. So, yes, the Dark Reliquary has sort of the oldest graves around it, but the whole place is certainly ancient. There's not going to be a place that you couldn't find them, but again, like, to answer your question of the oldest section, it's where the Dark Reliquary is.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. In that case, then might as well just pick a direction and start looking. As far as Davros is concerned.
Gail's gonna suggest that mayhaps we try to stick close to where the druid lived in case we. I know the time here seemed to. Well, you don't seem to notice the time as easily in here as outside. So maybe stick close to the druid in case we have to stay the night.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea. I mean, make sure if we have to fall back that we haven't.
All right. You're the ones who've been here before, so. Unless our new friend has an idea. And he definitely kind of, he says like friend, like almost like, and then like kind of like spits on the ground, kind of looking to the kind of the jester guy accompanying us.
Oh, yes, definitely. I know exactly where we should search. It's near enough to your friend the druid. It's over here, off to the north, always to the north. And he'll basically point off to you guys. Sort of that section, like north of the polis of Necropolis.
Seems as good a place to look as any. I mean, still relatively close to safety. I mean, make this guy worth his while.
Davros has his suspicions about this guy, but he's not going to dispute Jinx's suggestion.
Andak. So while you all are walking along the road here, he's kind of like bouncing around you guys. Like he's like sometimes in the front of you, he'll like all of a sudden pop up kind of behind you, like head over your shoulder, asking you a question like way too close to your ear as he sort of yells something out. And it's just, oh, so how'd you all meet the druid Andak? Should you find him entertaining? Was he dangerous? Did he shoot you with lightning or turn into a bear?
No, none of those things. He was actually kind of lackluster, to tell you the truth. I mean, seemed like a nice enough guy. Don't suppose you met him before.
Well, I've met him many times. I've met him so many times. Me and Andak, we go way back. We know each other quite well. He knew me when I still had, damn, I forgot again. Leprosy, when I was still a leper. He was actually one of the people who helped me get over my sickness, and I was fine. While you all are traveling to that area, let me have you all roll D8s.
Got a 6.
5 for me.
And 2 for Jinx.
Gotcha. So in the long run, you're trying to like keep an eye out while you're moving, but this guy is like far too inquisitive and he's far too like attention grabbing to really give you too much of a chance to really try to spot any Gravesbane while you're walking along the roads here. He's just basically not necessarily seems like he's doing it on purpose, but like again, he's like ADHD kind of levels of excited just to be here with you, and he's certainly not looking for it as well. But while you guys are basically moving through here, you know get up and find yourselves sort of walking into this area where the graves start to encircle around you, and you have a pretty solid understanding that you're effectively on that road that kind of zigzags just north of the L of Necropolis. So
think we're gonna have to get off the road at some point.
yeah, you guys can split up and search, or you can stay together as a group and search. I will allow one of you to search with advantage, or you can have two of you search with advantage. Oh wait, no, my bad. Two of you search normally.
Wait, you're saying if we split up, we get what?
Per party, I'll allow one to search with advantage, or two of you to search like normal. If you guys split up into two parties, I think it would basically be like whoever goes with this guy you hired can search with advantage, and the other ones can both just roll. But if you stay one party, it's advantage or two rolls.
Well, I mean, makes the most sense to split up. It's the most dangerous, but most rewarding, at least potentially.
Yeah, we need a lot of Gravesbane for this. I'm in it to split up.
Is it possible that while we were like waiting in line or while we were at the church, if we got a short rest in?
Yeah, you can take a short rest. Burn some hit dice.
So I think Davros obviously is not going to be going with the our guide, quote unquote. And I think since he hasn't been here before, he doesn't really know what he's looking for. So I would assume he'll have to stick with either Gale or Jinx, and then the other one would go with the guide.
All right, just because the guide is quite literally the thorn in Davros's side, I'm going to put it like this for you, Justin. You can go with the guide and everything be normal. Like, you can either roll two for your group, or one of you can roll with advantage. But if you split off with the other person, you would roll at disadvantage. So you can, like, give your help action to the other person and they can roll with advantage. Or if the two of you rolled, your roll is going to be at disadvantage because you've never had it explained by the sister of the Knights of the Pale.
Yeah, or Neferindel, I think, who was the one who had the best idea of kind of what it would look like. So yeah, I think that makes sense. He'll be at disadvantage.
Yeah, like you can still add yours to somebody else helping them, but if it's ideal for the two of you to roll, yours is actually at disadvantage if you were rolling. So it's not a complete loss, but like that again is like this guy actually honestly was approaching Dalton or Davros because he felt like attracted to you for whatever reason. Like this is one of those things. Oh, that's how Lothian works.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, Davros is not. I don't think he's wise or smart enough to consider that possibility. He just thinks this guy is an annoying. So he'll go with him if that's what Jinx and Gale think is best. But he does not going to volunteer for that sort of split.
Gotcha. So I think this is going to be either nature or I think survival. And then I think realistically we can do intelligence or wisdom. And then you can have proficiency if you have herbalism. And then nature or survival are like the fallbacks. So nature, survival, or herbalism, you can choose either of those two. So what do you guys want to do for the grouping?
I guess it's Me, Terry, and our new friend, and then the two of you. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Sure.
We're gonna need a lot of this stuff, so I don't think we're gonna finish early again. But how are we gonna meet back up? Know when we got enough?
Just go back to. Oh, never mind.
Should we just meet back at the road here and say 2 hours? See what we came up with.
Yeah, all right. But if we do get separated, somebody doesn't show up within the 2 hours. We gotta meet at the druid's place before sundown, or else might not be able to get out of here.
2 tolls of the bell or 3? Are we doing like an hour plus the rest of this one? Or do we want to do like a toll and then 2?
A toll and then 2? I'm fine with that.
That's a good question.
Yeah, Davros kind of like he like opened his mouth to kind of like he's like, that's a stupid question. Like he doesn't actually say that, but then he kind of closes his mouth because he realizes it's probably actually not a stupid question. He's like, but he's still like he kind of like yeah.
Yeah, you guys know you kind of like came through like the queue at some point during the like 12th tolling of the bell. So you're somewhere in that like 12 to 1 o'clock hour. So you're talking about basically like meeting up at 3 o'clock here. Um, Terry would probably also like ask you guys like looking to Jinx like, can you like shoot a fireball or something up into the sky? I know Trogdor can like do cool things like that. Like, hey, come help me over here. Are you capable? Can you do anything useful like that?
Yeah, I can do anything useful like that. If we're in trouble, I'll shoot a big fireball in the sky.
Terry like pats you on the back and is like, good job, big guy. I'm proud of you. But I need to know about him because that's who I'm going with.
Oh, sorry, I heard
Because
that.
right,
Oh,
didn't you say Jinx would go with? Yeah. Jinx was gonna have Terry, and then the guy you guys hired, right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
do
right.
you have anything that's like flare like that you can do?
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good idea, Terry. I'm glad you're on my side. So yeah, I mean, look, the truth is, if it hits the fan and we're in trouble, I ain't shooting no lightning bolt into the sky, okay? Keep your eye out, because if you see a lightning bolt, that means we're in trouble. And I expect the same from a fireball. Don't waste it. Make that mother count.
Well, like he can actually shoot like a ball of fire up into the sky. Not like
Yeah.
the world crumbles fireball, but like just like a little bit of fire. Woo! Look at me into the sky.
Oh yeah, they're like a fire bolt. Yeah, Gail's got those. I don't have any weak ass spells. I live my life on extremes. I either have the weakest stuff or the most powerful stuff. No like kind of medium.
All right, we should look into that. Um, okay, so if you guys run into trouble, you'll make a firebolt into the sky, and if we get into trouble, hopefully you guys will notice.
Oh, the lightning. Look out for the lightning. I mean,
Terry winks over at Gale. So you guys can split up here and start to make searches. Let me have you do your designated search. Are we effectively going with Jinx rolling with advantage from the guy you hired, and then Gale rolling with advantage from Davros?
I don't think Davros is going to look on his own. And I mean, not split up from Gale, but more like do his own search, even if it's a disadvantage.
Gotcha. Sounds good. So we'll go with 3 rolls.
And you said either which one? Nature or perception? Or nature or survival?
Nature, survival, or I don't think anybody has it, but just in case Davros has herbalism. Or even alchemy. Herbalism or alchemy. I think those are the 4 options.
Okay, so we're gonna roll individual, not with advantage in my group.
yours like has to be though,
Oh wait, so
because you
it
don't
has
have
to
another
be.
player with you.
Oh, okay, I got you. So like the NPC, like Terry can't like roll. He's
Yeah,
got
yeah.
to. Okay. So we don't really get a benefit from the other guy then. Because
He's
wouldn't
giving you
Terry roll
advantage.
nature?
Well, he lowers the DC of you finding something.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's fine then. Yeah. So yeah. So just one roll with advantage from me then.
Yeah, when you guys asked if there was anybody who could find something, I rolled a 20. He is good at finding this shit. So that is very advantageous.
Jinx literally takes like one step and he's like, "Hey, I think I found some." Nat 20 for me, so 21 total.
Excellent. What did Davros roll?
It was wisdom. That would be a 10 total with disadvantage.
Gotcha. And then what did you roll with Gale?
That's an 11 total.
Excellent. Let me have everybody roll a D100, and then Jinx, you can roll an extra D10.
96 for Gale.
I'm just adding all that together though, right?
Yeah, it rolls that weird. Which was the first one on yours there, Jinx?
I don't know. It kind of landed at the same time. I'll just roll even. It's a 2. Odd. It's a 7.
Well, no. Okay, I got you.
So the 7 would be the first one. So my roll would be 57, and then my extra D10 would be +2 or however.
Gotcha. So yeah, it's meant to be like a 20 basically instead of a 2. I was trying to do like the Call of Cthulhu style of like advantage where you replace the tens digit. So yeah, what did Davros find there? What did you roll?
55 on the D100.
Gotcha. So I think we've got Gale finding the largest plant, which you're effectively finding, like roughly what you expect to be good for, like 1 ritual. And then we've got Davros and Jinx both kind of finding plants that you expect to be like about half of a resurrection ritual. So with the first few hours of your searching, you guys are going to return, and basically like as you combine what you found, you have roughly what you expect to be good for resurrecting 2 people.
Halfway there. Obviously, know who we're reviving first, don't we?
Not Karina. Oh, I mean, So before we're like about to split back off and go looking again, I'm gonna do a bardic inspiration on whoever's like. Look, if both you guys are gonna look, I'm gonna hit both you guys with it. Or wait, is that possible? I know it only has 10-minute thing.
Because we've got these searches going over hours, I feel like that's kind of outside of where it's useful.
Makes sense.
All right, so if you guys agree, 2 more hours.
Yeah, and Davros is going to the kind of half amount that he got. He's going to give that to Jinx, so that both groups have one full one in case something happens. We get split up. At least it increases the chances of somebody getting out with at least one. And Davros obviously is thinking if we only get one, it's for Dalton.
Gotcha. So theoretically, I've got you guys at 209%. We'll kind of like add them all together, split them back up, so you have roughly 105% to each group, kind of thing. So yeah, if you guys agree to come back in return for the 5th tolling of the bell again, you guys have another 2 hours here. Let's just do the same rolls again and see what we do for this one.
Ooh, that's a 2, or no, a 4 this time for Davros.
And I got 16.
And then Chris Gale, you rolled a nat 19. What's your total?
That is 24.
All right. So Davros, this time you're just kind of, maybe caught even up too much in like knowing you've got enough of this now to revive Dalton, but your head's just like swimming with thoughts. You don't end up seeing any Gravesbane on this one. The other two of you, though, you can roll again 2d10 and then one tens place. So if you want to roll a d100, just roll a d10 after that, and it's advantage on the tens place. So yeah, 61, and then one more d10 if you roll over a 6. So yeah, that's... No, with the 1, that's a 1. So yeah, that's actually the worst that you could roll.
Yeah, so 61.
So yeah, I got a 96 again.
So apparently Chris is the master D100s when you're going for high numbers. So yeah, we've got you guys with about another 150. So you're nearing the point where you think that you could revive 4 people with this. You guys know that there is not a unanimous amount that it takes to revive 4 people. You do also know that it can use more and it can use less. So you could use another few hours of searching. Do you guys want to search where you are basically taking this search to the evening? Or do you want to get out of here while you can?
So Davros is for getting out of here while we can, given his interest in Dalton. We have certainly enough for at least 1 or 2. So, but he's not going to abandon the others if they want to keep searching. And I feel like maybe Davros is not a huge fan of Karina. He's like thinking, she was a bad influence on Dalton. So, but he will obviously stick with everyone else.
Yeah, okay. I think Gale is gonna advocate for staying a little bit more, just to make sure that we have for everyone.
Yeah, that's a tough choice. I mean, better to come back with too much than not enough. That's a decision I don't want to have to make. But you did your part. Saying now to the bard guy that we hired. Here's the 20 gold, I promise. You stay with us. Uh, I'll double it. But you've earned your keep. You can go now if you please. And I'll give him a bag of 20 gold right now.
Oh, most generous of you, friend, most generous. Do we want to search for more? Do you need more? I'm sure there's more to be found. There's always more. There's plenty of death here in this place, that there's always Gravesbane growing. Perhaps your friend wants to take what we found and leave with that. Would you like to leave, my friend? And he'll, kind of staring down way too close to Davros still, and he'll ask you, do you want to take what we found and get out while the getting's good? And we can search for more. You guys have 366%. The chances of reviving 4 people with that is definitely high.
They're going to stay in search. I'll stay with them. Now get out of my face.
He gives you a big hug, and then he's going to kiss you on the cheek as he just says, yes, yes, a group of friends always stays together. And then
Dalton's hand just ball into fists, but he kind of grits his teeth and does not react.
He's already bounding off, and he ducks and weaves and dodges as if he's a boxer getting swung on a regular basis. So even if you were swinging at this person, his natural movements are already dodging, as if he expects to get punched despite being so happy and excited about it. But yeah, if you guys want to split once more and search, or do you want to stick together and do this final search just as a single group?
Dalton's going to suggest, given it's getting closer towards dark, maybe we stick together for these last hour or two.
God damn, I knew it, Davros. He's starting to grow on you. I like him too. I'm with you.
Davros just scoffs at that. The part about the guy growing on him, not yeah.
So he'll kind of lead you guys westward. So you're heading towards the island. It sounded like that was kind of what you guys were thinking. So we'll start to do this search, kind of heading in this direction, and you guys can actually make a move somewhat towards the druid, and it keeps you along that while you're still searching. But I think here then becomes the question of, do you want one of you to search with advantage, or would you all, or would you rather have 2 of you just do searching normal?
My vote is for 2 of us searching normal, and then I'm going to use inspiration to get advantage if I can.
Yeah, I think Davros kind of knows he's he's not the most skilled at this, and his head is kind of not really in it. So he'll kind of more kind of keep watch and let the others search for it.
So Gail, do you want to do the other one? Do you have inspiration right now?
Not right now. But yeah, I'm fine with doing the other search.
Gotcha. Let's have Gail, and then Jinx, you can use your inspiration for advantage.
Oof, I got an 8.
Okay, I had a 1 and a 19, so dirty 20 total, and I'm very glad I used my inspiration.
What was your total there from Gail?
8.
Oh,
8
okay,
total.
okay. Yeah, so despite this guy seeming to be like effective and helping you guys, at this point, like Davros and Gale, who have not had to like deal with him like leaping around and like distracting them, you guys are effectively not accomplishing anything with this guy near you. Jinx, you on the other hand are successful at gathering this. You can do. You said a 20. Do the 2d10 and then like the single like digits. Like do the d100 with advantage. Beat an 8. Gotcha. So 82.
85. The first one was 85.
Word. Davros, can you roll a perception check for me?
Sure.
Probably a guaranteed success. Oh my god.
That's a 4.
I had to say that. I rolled a 5. I was like, oh yeah, he can't fail that. So while you guys are sort of heading through like the last of these graves, you have Jinx kind of finding the last sort of Gravesbane, like right around like twilight. You guys have the Druid's Grove within sight. It's still, I think that's probably like 300 or so feet away. As he kind of like starts to like pick and like dig up the roots and sort of like grab this to run to you guys with that like little bit of excitement, like we have it, we have what we need. And Davros is probably the first to sort of feel as like the ground starts to shudder underneath your feet. But Davros wasn't here the last time. He doesn't know exactly what's happening. And we are going to end today's session with the ground starting to collapse underneath you all as you are drug into the subterranean levels of the necropolis once again. And that's where we're going to pick up next week.
All right.
I've got 451%. So you guys can certainly resurrect your 4 friends here. If you make it out.
Yeah. And actually, I'm still thinking about how Dalton's going to respond to the second death. And then I actually had ideas because I like playing Davros too. So, but I also had ideas about what happens if, because Vera, his mother, is obviously, she's not like any sort of adventure or anything. But I had thoughts about how I could potentially bring her in as a PC as well. It would have to be kind of a bit of sort of a bit unusual because she's essentially like a commoner. But I was thinking about my thoughts were
Like an
essentially like,
artificer. Make her like an armor artificer? Like the
well,
armorer?
I was almost thinking like because if Dalton stays dead, and then if something happens to Davros, she would essentially like her grief would her own grief and rage would essentially cause her to make some like a terrible pact with some like dark power. So I was thinking more on like warlock lines for her, and that
Oh,
could
hell yeah.
also help
Warlock's
explain how
definitely
like she like kind of suddenly went from like just a pretty common person to now all of a sudden she has these powers. Where they come from, and then but that was that's just kind of thinking early stages. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
No, I think that's like a really cool way to like stick with the same story, is like actually embracing the family members that you created.
Yeah, and I like the idea of like like the whole revenge story thing. It's pretty cliche, but it works. And I know next week is like Thanksgiving weekend. I'm available, but I just wanted to, just in case, I don't know if anybody has like travel plans or anything.
I believe my brother and I are both entirely available. Nothing special for us.
Yeah, and I'm available as well.
All right, yeah, just wanted to double check. So yeah, I'm good. So yeah,
Excellent.
Hell yeah. Well, I mean, we tried. We were close to keeping Dalton from dying again. There was multiple times where it could have went in our favor, but it is what it is. It was definitely a fun session.
Yeah, so I do actually want to bring this up. I was already kind of on the edge about whether to have you guys level up to level 8 for today or not. So I would say next week, be ready for it. Don't do it right away. Like, don't irreversibly do it. But kind of be somewhat prepared. Like, I think Chris is going to get access to level 5 spells with level 8. I guess really so should Jinx. But like be ready for those thoughts. I'm sorry that that kind of puts you at a weird level of like having multiple characters who you might be working with like Dalton and Davros. But be prepared for level 8. And then also keep in mind that like with deaths, like there's the chance that one, you can just narratively say Dalton doesn't come back. And you can just fiat Dalton is actually dead. And two, the dice, you'll have to actually roll to see, like, sort of if Dalton's soul comes back. And part of that is those sort of pleas to Dalton from his friends. And those are basically like a skill challenge for everybody to do. So it's not crazy to say that there's a chance that even despite your decision to have him come back, Dalton might not be available to come back. And then the last thing is even if you want Dalton to come back to life, he can also just retire too. So there's a lot of different options to keep in mind with what a death can mean. Um, so kind of be ready for those three things, I feel like, because there's three different like things that can affect whether or not you have Dalton.
yeah, I think yeah, I figure yeah, there's definitely, and I like the idea that it's at some point, um, those pleas and stuff and the soul coming back becomes more difficult and I was even thinking like if Dalton does come back, then maybe like the first time he kind of went like all hedonistic and kind of for a while, but maybe if he does come back the second time, maybe he like does a complete 180 and he devotes his life to like the church and becomes a monk or something and just like kind of goes off and retires that way. So I'll have to think about it over the week though and kind of be open for whatever. And Davros, I think, is a fighter, so his level ups tend to be pretty straightforward. So I'm not too worried about that.
Oh shit, I got distracted. I found a sword that I wanted to have. Fuck. I left this off. I had a sword that I wanted to have Fisk give you. This is what when we came back from break, that I was starting with, and I meant to finish with, like, once you were done, actually having Fisk kind of approach Davros with this, like, blade wrapped in leather, and kind of, like, approach you and go with Lothian and the blessings of the church, and understand that there is always a certain level of violence that are required for peace. Our Lord Lothian did not ascend through pacifism, but through the understanding that the greater good of all men was to be fought at the hilt of his blade. And I hope that you will find some blessing for yourself within the steel of Lothian. And if I may be your patron, bless you with this Lothian steel. Its name is World Carver. And he'll hand you, like, he'll unwrap the hilt, and you'll see kind of like a golden, like, last sort of half of the, like, double-handed, I can't think of what the hand part is. It's not actually the hilt. The hilt is the whole, like, cross, I feel like. But basically, the hand part of it, like, the last half of it is kind of like golden, and then there's like this beautiful like red like rosewood is sort of the front half where your main hand would go, and then it has like a golden cross of Lothian as like the actual like hand guard, and then like down the first part of the blade there's a roaring lion on one side, and then the opposite side has like this calm like peaceful lion's head. And then I'll like send you the link, but on the ledger it's called Godsteel World Carver. Uh, and that is basically, it's not yours, but while you're using Davros, at least for now, while Dalton is dead, Davros can have the World Carver.
Gotcha. Yeah. So that would have been like the first time Davros's kind of expression would have like softened, and he would have kind of a little more reverently than he'd been acting so far in the church would accept the blade, and um, he would kind of give a nod to Fisk, and I've been called many things in my life, but pacifist is not one of them. I will put the blade to good use. Yeah, and I'll look it up in the ledger over the week. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I'll send it to you in the next few moments here. It was more or less, this is what I was trying to do during that break, and then of course, like, I forgot.
No worries.
But yeah, this is a legendary weapon. It is not meant to be something that you just have like as a part of this campaign. But I thought like Davros has been ignored since what, like level 4 or 5? Like it was ages ago that Davros and Malchin were running around the streets. So to like, I was like, all right, to catch him up a little bit to hang out with the other characters, definitely have to give him something.
Well, I mean, he does have Sulamore, which is a pretty good weapon. But yeah, definitely World's Carver
Yeah,
definitely sounds like a step above.
those aren't gifts of the church, though. You guys like
No.
are embracing these like chaos cult weapons as if you're meant to have these chaos cult weapons, and you are not.
I like the idea that this is like it's essentially like, while he's on this quest to bring Dalton back, like, yeah, the church is essentially giving him this tool to help him. Um, and I feel like Dalton or Tavros would almost think like he's accepting it now, but he's also thinking like, I'm, given the provenance and stuff, like, he's thinking like he's not really worthy of this blade, like as a, um, like he'll take it because it'll come in useful, but he's thinking it's not really, yeah, like I'm not worthy. Like this is a paladin's blade or like a noble, knight's blade or something.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that's like the weird thing of like, it's like, yeah, you're not worthy of it, but while you hold it, you are blessed with what it requires to be worthy of it. But don't think for a moment that you like can control this blade. It requires humility. But yeah, it's definitely like, I was like looking through some things and I'm like, I need like a really like holy sounding blade, and I found this cool like +3 one where I'm like, a +3 blade at these levels would be so stupid powerful. It can't be that thing. So I'm like scrolling down. I'm like, Godsteel? Yes, please.
Yeah, I think my favorite blade is the Holy Hand Blade of Antioch.
Many say the Holy Hand Blade of Antioch is a myth.
It should be handled with one or two hands, but often you find it's thrown at rabbits.
Oddly enough, the +3 blade that I looked up, it had the thrown quality, and it automatically like returned to you. But what it was is it was almost exactly the same blade. Was it Justin who went on the Tomb of Annihilation? No,
Jarek.
Jarek. It was almost the same blade that I made for Jarek, where I was like, you have like a hilt, and you can turn it into whatever blade you would like to. That's like what this thing was. It could turn into any martial or simple weapon. So it was effectively whatever weapon you wanted to turn this thing into, it would turn into. And it was like, when it's given the thrown quality, if you throw it, it returns to you. If you're ever more than 30 feet away from it, you can use your bonus action to return it to your hand. It was a very cool blade, but also +3, and I was like, oh, that's +3 is a lot.
I really like that weapon with Jarek. Poor Jarek, burned to a crisp. But yeah, no, that was definitely a cool weapon and a cool kind of idea. Yeah, and the blade survived him.
Right? Yeah. What was it? It was the sidekick that Chris had that rocked it out next.
Yeah, we lost a lot of good people in that tomb.
That was a bittersweet thing, though. Like, we really did make the right choice by saying, like, at what point do we want to stop, like, replenishing people through attrition? Because it was definitely a weird level of, like, all this place is designed for is killing you. So at some point, it's going to be like, we either quit with a party wipe, or by the time we finish this, we're like, damn, we lost 355 adventures in this thing.
Yeah, and sometimes the good guys lose. And I like, and it's like kind of, and it's I like that you like we like persevered through so much, and then but in the end, it's like this place was just like kind of like you said, made for killing adventurers, and it lived up to its name.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it, like, truly written, but I feel like it's one of the things, like, the way people kind of talk about, like, spoilers about understanding things is it's like once you enter the Tomb of Annihilation, you have already died, and your soul is, like, stuck inside of this labyrinth. And when you die inside of the Tomb of Annihilation, is when this is actually the phylactery of that lich. When you die inside of it is when your soul is consumed in the phylactery.
Yeah, and I think it'd be cool to do like if you assume that happens, right? So these are the adventures that were hired, and obviously other adventures were hired too, but to try to break the death curse, and then I don't know. I think it'd be a cool idea to essentially say like, okay, nobody was able to succeed. The death curse overtook Chult, and now it's like almost like a 28 weeks later kind of situation where Chult is just like overrun by zombies and undead, and then maybe like sometime in the future now there's like somebody's trying to like essentially establish a beachhead to like retake the continent kind of thing. If that could be a cool kind of twist on the
I was actually
but
kind of curious because that was like basically what Nastan, I can't think of his name offhand, but they were kind of like getting to with that wizard who like was the Lizard King when you guys went through. Hundreds of years ago, he went there and started using the undead to fight his way towards this temple. and then he like lost control of the undead when he became the lizard person. But it was like that weird level of like, I don't know, like the cycle of life kind of thing. Like every few hundred years, there's somebody who has to like come through and just fight through this horde, and they often become like pure evil sort of thing on the way there. I don't know. That was kind of one of the things that I felt like from a DM's perspective, they were kind of getting at. Is like most adventurers to be successful and make it there are gonna have to do such evil things that they end up becoming the next like villains who are kind of like propagating these different like parts of the rainforest.
Yeah, yeah.
In the end, you die a hero or live long enough to become the villain.
Precisely.
Yeah, that was cool. Sorry he died again. That was fun. I feel like Dalton was like, he wasn't fully like like regenerated from the death. So he was still kind of like on death's door a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. No, I kind of, yeah, I like how the deaths kind of came close together, like, and it also would be a good explanation for like why, you know, maybe he might not come back a second time, because like you die and you go through all this and your soul gets returned, and then like 3-4 weeks later, almost like out of nowhere, right? Like he probably barely saw those assassins, like, and then he was healed, brought back to consciousness just long enough to see the blade come down and finish him off. So yeah,
So
but no,
there's my bad. In Warhammer, there's like the Stormcast Eternals who are like the like holy knights of Sigmar, and that's sort of like what it is. They have like infinite abilities to like bring people back, like regenerate them. But each time you like come back, you like lose a bit of yourself, so you become more like just like blah, which is pretty cool. I like the idea of it. And then like you can only come back so many times before you're just like a broken like version.
yeah. And it would also be cool, I think, to like if you wanted to like retire a character, but like you could have them come back, but like let's say like maybe they blamed their companions for getting them killed in the first place, so they come back solely so that they can take revenge.
Ooh, in my world, we call that an NPC.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, like you would turn them into an NPC, and they would be like, I need to take some time for myself, but really they're going off to like plot their revenge.
One of the things that we actually talked about when we brought up like the pirate actions going on was like bringing back Malchin. And one of the things was, it's like, well, Chris can think up things for Malchin to do, but also if Chris doesn't think up things for Malchin to do, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to create things for Malchin to do. So it's one of those weird things where I think Justin last week asked, like, oh shit, is Malchin taking part in these raids? Because it's all, I remember the exact thing that we brought up. Because it was like, asking Chris, like, do you think Malchin is raiding in a way that's taking advantage of Tolis under siege? If he's not, how long do we think his crew is going to let him remain the captain of that ship? Because his wish was to become captain. It was like very Jack Sparrow, kind of like Black Pearl level of nobody said that he has to remain the captain.